welcome to part 2 of the video blog looking at the UK and Europe. I apologise for the lack of memory on my phone, so that's why it's cutting out. But as I was saying in the previous video, that the important thing here, folks, isn't the fact that we could see snow and whatnot. You asked me the question, why am I so adamant that we could see snowfall on Christmas Eve? Basically, my explanation is the fact that we've seen it already. Even though it's a positive NAO, a positive Arctic oscillation as well, there is cold in the mid-latitudes of the atmosphere. The pattern is wavy, it's progressive, it's going from west to east, and therefore we're seeing milder conditions followed in between storms, colder conditions. And I think, to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the fact that we've seen snow last weekend widely across Scotland and across parts of northern England as well, if I hadn't seen that, I might not be as convinced. But as of the moment, I'm convinced that we could see snow if the moisture is readily available. The colder, I think, will be. The models continue to be quite adamant, and it's been persistent as well. Certainly the European model has been persistent in showing this trough dig down. So continue to watch the northwest Atlantic. As that trough deepens, it pumps the ridge out ahead of it. So therefore we get that surge of warmer air tomorrow up across Ireland and the UK. As it does so, the cold over far northern Scandinavia gets shoved southwards. It's all a push-pull. You pressurize the atmosphere, it reacts in a different way. It reacts and forces air masses to change direction. You can't push a parcel of air, an air mass, into another region without that region's air mass then getting disrupted. So it's an interesting setup. It's a progressive setup. The potential for snowfall isn't necessarily a big deal. My point really is the fact that I'm trying to prove the point that I'm making. Instead of being dedicated to the models, many forecasters look purely at the model rather than trying to see the pattern, look at what happened before to therefore make a prediction of future weather. And really that is my philosophy. I'm trying to be a forecaster in the sense that you're reading what the weather pattern's doing, you're seeing what's there in front of you. We've seen that trough bias over the North Atlantic. If it wasn't for that trough that's been draped south of Greenland, we wouldn't see any snow, we wouldn't have seen any cold over the course of this month. But it's been a very interesting pattern. It remains an Atlantic-driven pattern. So there we go. This is Christmas Eve. Interestingly enough, there has been a persistency in this taking place. Christmas Day, it shows milder conditions, and it actually shows a more flat-lined zonal Atlantic flow ripping due west to east across the Atlantic. But notice a lot of cold air that was shoved down a few days ago, and over the next day or so, that then cold is getting dragged and pulled along the North Atlantic. Lots of cold air there to play with. Skipping ahead through the sequence, let's look at Monday, and you can see here the trough yet again digging over the northwest Atlantic, the ridge pushing up into Ireland and the UK. So if it repeats itself, it should be this. We see the trough then start to skip eastwards across the North Atlantic, and by Wednesday, guess what? We've got the colder air yet again reaching Ireland and the UK mainland as well. Of course, here this would indicate that there's another system here. You've got a warm surge out ahead of the cold front. As the cold front passes through, bingo, we've got yet again another cold air mass in place. And look at this here. This is a decent cold surge, folks. Could this be the strongest cold surge of the season so far? Yeah, it could be if it plays out. Look at how cold Scandinavia is. This would be the coldest air. If this model was correct, this would be the coldest air we've seen so far over Scandinavia. But yet again, because of the progression of the pattern, because of the positive North Atlantic oscillation, the pattern remains progressive. Shots of cold air, surges of warmer, shots of cold air. It's that type of pattern. Let's look ahead at Friday, and you can see that. You can see there the cold easing and milder yet again starting to surge in from the southwest, but cold air once again back in behind that. So it's very much a very wavy type of pattern, mild, cold, mild. But when you mix in that backside moisture with that cold air, the potential is always there for snowfall. And look at the cold air up over the northeast of Europe as well. So I'm going to try and shoot another video before my bedtime tonight, looking ahead at the overall hemispheric pattern and the key signals we're looking for a severe Arctic outbreak later down the road. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.